Welcome, everyone, to Bella's Biz, Blues, and Bourbon. I am your host, Michelle Oliver, and I'm delighted to be here today with George Bellis of Bellis and Wachowski. And our topic today is the advantages of having a lawyer as a trusted business advisor for small business owners. Wow, this is a very important topic. George, welcome. It's lovely to see you today.
Well, it's nice to be seen, especially by somebody as lovely as you.
Ah,
And it's a little chilly up here in Chicago.
is it? Do you have snow?
We had a little sprinkling of it, but nothing like Colorado.
We have none at all.
Oh, geez, what's happening to this world?
The sun is shining on it.
Yes. Well, this topic today is something that whenever I help, which is very frequently, uh,
Yes, daily.
businesses get started, I always impress upon them the importance of having a good relationship with someone like a lawyer. I also emphasize having a trusted business advisory relationship with an accountant, an insurance agent, and a banker and
Mhm.
a lawyer. So we're going to talk about why people need that. But first and foremost, we have to touch on the bourbon of this side of this.
Yes, that's a beautiful bottle.
It is. And as you can see, it's sitting on my desk to be enjoyed.
Ah, lovely.
Yes, yes. And Blanton,
Lovely for
Blanton,
you. Lovely for
Blanton,
your clients if they come visit you.
right, if they better get here quick. Um, but this is one of the original classic bourbon whiskeys. And it's enough said, it's a classic. And when we talk about bourbon, we have to talk about blues. And one of the greats is John Lee Hooker. And he is known for his Delta blues, but also he was very popular here in Chicago. He played the Checkerboard Lounge quite a bit. But let's get to business. When you start a business, we have to talk about some basic things. The most important thing is structuring of the business, um, who owns it, what kind of business it is. Is it an LLC, a corporation, a partnership, a limited partnership, a sole proprietorship? And what we do is we help you decide what business structure you should use depending on what your uniques are. So that's an important first step in the puzzle that we do. And we also make sure that there's compliance with the laws, including state of Illinois laws, federal laws, um, tax laws. And for a small business owner that's getting or wading into the morass of the laws that surround a business these days, we help make it easier. We also help minimize risk. The risks of hiring people, risks of dealing with customers, uh, risks of driving a vehicle for your business. Now we have to worry about data privacy. And if you're collecting data of a customer or client, you have to be proactive in protecting that. And what we do as lawyers is we help by a very simple task of drafting very clear contracts. We advise you on business owners on protecting your intellectual property. We help you with data privacy policies, and we do everything necessary to help you get going and get started in the right direction. We draft contracts for our clients. We help simplify them. Some contracts are very complicated, but we try to simplify them as much as possible. And we do this by understanding what your business is and doing it as tightly as possible. We also make strong recommendations on how to resolve business disputes. It begins with your partners. If you're in business, you have to have something in place, some process in place to resolve deadlocks. What you don't want to do is you don't want to end up in court with your partner, and that's the death knell of the business. I think partnership agreements are like prenup agreements. Hey, Michelle, do you have a prenup agreement, or did you? Well, your next marriage, you better, right?
Okay.
That's the best
Y-
advice I'm going to give you
That's
right
funny. Yes, of
now.
course I
Okay.
would. Because I don't
All
want to
right.
share the wealth with anyone but my kids, George.
There you
Right?
go. That's why you need a prenup. So
Yes.
what we also do is we make sure that your customer contracts have dispute resolution processes, or even something about where to file suit. I mean, if you do business with the business in Colorado, if you're an Illinois business and you're doing business with a business in Colorado, where are you going to resolve your dispute if you end up in court? Are you going to go to court in Denver or someplace else in Colorado? Is there any place else but Denver and Colorado? Um, Spoken like
South
a true.
Dakota.
Spoke,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, exactly. Or do you want to file your suit in Illinois, where the contract originated? Um, or do you want to avoid a court altogether and arbitrate your dispute? But it's really important that if you do have a dispute, that you consult with your lawyer right away. We also protect against intellectual property, things like the name of your business, your
Mhm.
trademark, any creative works. How about artwork that you use in your process? But protecting your intellectual property, your IP is very important, and we take steps to do that. We also, the biggest nightmare every business has these days is their own employees. There's
Mm.
such a minefield of uh, laws in place. Um, just today, we were dealing with somebody contacted us regarding one of their employees was a victim of some violence, and
Oh.
there's a law called VESA, VESSA, that requires um, you as an employer to give time off to the people who have been subject to or victims of violence. So
Gosh.
yeah, people don't realize all the different laws that exist out there to protect employees, and you as an employer have to make sure that you're in compliance. There's taxes. Gosh, are there taxes? Um, and tax advice. And if you're a very successful business owner, you have inheritance tax problems. But you know, setting up a strategy early to do the best you can to minimize your taxes is always a great step to take. It begins with structuring the business, figuring out what deductions might be available for you, and helping you establish the proper record keeping um, requirements of books, records, um, using QuickBooks. You know, some ridiculously large number of small businesses use QuickBooks to manage their business, and it's a great program. I use it, but you have to have something in place, and we help you get started on that. There's planning. Uh, these things require you to sit down with somebody, not just on January 1st to make New Year resolutions and have plans, but all the time. And you need to have some strategic legal advice about how you're going to approach different projects. There's confidentiality provisions. I mean, if you're, especially in this day, if you're dealing with client data or customer data, you have to make sure you're doing the right thing to protect that information as well as your own. So, crisis management. How about what if your computers get hacked? What do you do? Who do you turn to? What we do is we help when clients have a problem. involving breaches of contract. You have a big contract with your customer. Your customer owes you money and then he doesn't pay you or she doesn't pay. What if you have an employee dispute? Um, what kind of contract do you have with your employees? These are kind of the things that lawyers help on a day-to-day basis, uh, help their businesses deal with these things. We also network. I mean, when we help a business start, we give them recommendations for an accountant, a bank, an insurance agent. We help them, and sometimes we know a business that might benefit from the relationship between them. And what we do is we network those businesses together. So, bottom line is we help. We're not your enemy. We're a business owner's best friend. And if you need more information, call me, call me.
This is so helpful and very comprehensive. And I like the way you began with the puzzle pieces because there are so many things that can fall through the cracks. And with a small business, you're focused on a million things at once, the operations, and everything you mentioned here could easily be ignored. And then it's too late. And then you've got more expense and more issues to deal with.
Sounds like the voice of experience, Miss Oliver.
Yes, indeed. Well, you must have a trusted lawyer and business
Yes.
advisor. And
And
do you want to share what you have in place for people? Because you make it so simple.
well, we have what we call our corporate maintenance plan or our LLC maintenance plan for our clients. We have signed an engagement agreement and we put you on a retainer. And during that year, we do something as simple as act as your registered agent to make sure that whatever papers are served upon you are handled in the right way. Whatever issues may arise, we give you unlimited telephone contact with us during the year, so that you call us rather than trying to figure out on your own. And sometimes the advice is really simple. I got a letter from some governmental agency, or I got a letter that says I need to post all of these fancy posters in my in the cafeteria or the lunchroom. Most of the time, I tell people that when they get letters like that, they could just throw them away. But we're here to help, and that's what we try to do.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing this with everyone. And I hope everyone reaches out to George and his team. Thank you, George.
Thank you, Miss
Cheers.
Oliver. And, oh yes,
Cheers.
and cheers.
Cheers. Here, I'm drinking water. Send me
Okay,
some bourbon.
I'll send you a bottle. All right, good health,
Okay,
everyone.
thank you. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.